London, and welcome back to the Matt Brown podcast. We've got a great show for you today. In this episode, we're going to be speaking with two London police officers. I'm going to tell you all about it right after this.
Discover London Bicycle Cafe. It's the perfect time of year to take a break on their spacious patio, featuring craft beer, espresso drinks, snacks, meals, and more. London Bicycle Cafe at the Forks of the Thames. See you soon.
And welcome back. Today we're going to be joined by a staff sergeant with London Police Service who's going to talk all things traffic. And following that, we're going to be joined by a London Police Service constable to talk about an incredible program the London Police Service offers that might surprise you. And just before we get going, I want to remind you that this podcast has a website now. It's the mattbrownpodcast.com. You can get in touch with me there. You can share a topic you'd like me to cover in a future episode. You can pitch a topic for you to appear on a future episode, or maybe have a comment about a previous episode that you'd like to share. Please just reach out and let me know. This is another abridged version of the latest episode of Newsmakers. That's the show I started hosting on Rogers Television this fall. You can see the whole episode over on Rogers between now and the middle of October. Don't have Rogers? Well, there's never been a better time to subscribe. You can catch all kinds of local programming there, including our London Nights. First up, we have Acting Staff Sergeant Mike Anderson. Mike has served as a sworn member of the London Police Service since 2007. And he's following in his dad's footsteps too. His dad is retired Sergeant Brent Anderson, who served our community for 34 years. People are surprised sometimes to learn that there are multiple career paths that a member of the LPS can take throughout their career. Earlier this year, Mike was transferred to the Traffic and Safety Division, where he now supervises a sergeant and 15 constables as they work to keep London roads safe for all of us. So with that, here's our conversation. Let's get on with the show. Acting Staff Sergeant Anderson, welcome to Newsmakers. It's great to have you.
Thanks so much for having me here today.
I think we're going to learn quite a bit in this conversation. I was on City Council back in 2010 to 2014. I was the Ward 7 councillor, and I remember the kind of calls that I would receive. Things about speeding, traffic was right up there with things like garbage schedule and snow removal. This is a popular topic. And let's face it, London's roads can be really busy. So I guess in a nutshell, what is it that the traffic and road safety section does?
So the road safety section mostly does enforcement, education, and engagement with the community. So obviously I think most people see us out in the community pulling speeders over, doing traffic enforcement. We're also trying to educate the public. We're doing lots of other things such as going to events, going to community meetings to try to educate about those complaints that you probably heard about when you're on City Council. So we would go, I've done a couple of those meetings as well where councillors have set up ward meetings. I've gone, educated them about some of the things going on. We work as well with the city workers there, City of London employees. So we try to also engage the engineering aspect of road safety, because obviously there's the enforcement, there's the education, but there's the other aspect of it that's not really the London police issue, but something that the city can deal with, and that's engineering.
For sure, and that sounds like a lot. Some of the things that you didn't touch on were things that are in the news right now, especially provincially, things like red light cameras and photo radar equipment. Folks at home might be surprised to learn that that's not a London Police Service responsibility, that's a City of London responsibility, and the decision making around that is our London City Council.
Correct, that has nothing with the road safety section. We have no involvement with that.
Right, and as I mentioned earlier, as a City Council, I received many calls and emails about traffic. The London left on a red, that I think people see yellow a little bit longer than it's actually there. That was a regular topic. Cut through traffic and speeding in neighborhoods too. How's it going these days? Are you still seeing that sort of call, or have things changed?
I think the cut through traffic is still one of the major concerns that we get in the road safety section, especially from city councillors. Citizens who are living on residential sort of 40-kilometer-hour zone streets are seeing an influx of traffic because of construction, more vehicles on the roadway, people trying to find shortcuts to get to their spots so they can get there faster. So that is a concern that comes up frequently. We meet with the neighbors, we actually have technology that assists us. We
Oh,
have
tell me about that.
So we have some machines, they're called armadillos is what we call them. We put them in the neighborhoods on poles and they will count the traffic for us. They'll estimate the speed or collect all the speed. They'll tell us what the average speed is in the neighborhood. And if it is a concern well over the posted 40-kilometer speed limit, then we would send additional officers out there to conduct speed enforcement for that neighborhood.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what should a resident do if they're experiencing something like this on their street? Should they call their city councillor? Should they call London Police Service? Should they call both?
They can do both. They can reach out to the city councillor. They can reach out to the London Police Service, our main number, the 519-661-5670.
That's the non-emergency number?
That is the non-emergency number that they can reach out if they have a traffic concern. And also we now have a new email address that is RSS for Road Safety Section at londonpolice.ca. So if there's traffic concerns, they can reach out directly to us through that link.
That's excellent. Excellent to know. Lately, we're seeing London Police Service vehicles bristling with black objects. They look like they're cameras, maybe. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that's a new program that started a few years ago. They're ALPR, or automatic license plate readers. They're on the front and back of the cars. And what that's doing is collecting all the data, looking at all the plates, and it's pre-programmed. So if there's an alert like it's a stolen vehicle or it's registered to a driver that doesn't have a license, it will alert the police officer within that car as soon as they're turned on, and then they can deal with that issue at that time.
Oh, so that's a really useful piece of technology then.
Yeah, and it's useful for more than just traffic things. We also, you say a missing person, we can flag their car if they're missing, and then we can do that not just with London Police, but with all the organizations who use them within Ontario. So if somebody's missing, and somebody has the ALPR on their car, they will then get flags saying, oh, this person's missing. We can then make the traffic stop and help them get home.
Right, of course. Well, your work is serious business. In 2024, folks watching from home might be surprised to hear that there were 13,354 collisions last year. That's about 40 collisions a day on average. Sadly, there were many people who experienced life-changing injuries, or even 12 Londoners the accident resulted in their death. As we move towards the end of this interview, what are the messages do you have for motorists or cyclists and pedestrians?
We just want everybody to slow down, pay attention. We're aiming for the Vision Zero to reduce all fatal collisions on roadways and reduce the serious injuries. So we just want everybody to be a part of that. It's a whole community. It's not just the drivers, it's the pedestrians, it's the cyclists, it's everybody out here. And if we work together, slow down, pay attention, I think we'll be able to reduce those numbers.
Yeah. What about Mothers Against Drunk Driving and roadside stops? Is that something that you're involved with directly in your division, or is that a different division?
No, that's within the Road Safety Section division. We actually have an impaired countermeasures officer who is trained in drug recognition, doing the breath tests, all those sort of things, and they work closely with MAD and deal with all of our impaired and do the ride programs and things like that throughout the city.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like how does that work? I'm wondering, how do you pick spots? I imagine you want to pick spots where people can't easily see, oh, hey, there's a ride program and I'm going to, take a left and try and evade the stop.
Yeah, so we pick spots based on the roadways and the traffic, so that obviously it's close to areas that we have many complaints about impaired driving, as well as areas that they won't see us directly right away, like you said, so that the impaired drivers are obviously going to veer off if they can see us too early, while the sober drivers are going to drive to us and it's not accomplishing what we want. So there's sort of different spots we do take.
Yeah, a few weeks ago I was going to get a pizza. I was coming up Thames Street that turns into Wortley Road, and there was a stop that was just over the overpass, which I thought was brilliant because there's really no way out except for going straight.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. Listen, we've talked about a lot of topics over the course of this conversation, but I'm just wondering if there's anything that I missed, anything that you wanted Londoners to know about London Police Service, your division, anything at all?
It's a big division of 15 people. We have a lot of different specialties that we do. It's not just the enforcement that you may see every day. Any major accidents, we deal with that with accident reconstructions.
It's got to be really complicated stuff to do roadside reconstruction.
Yeah, it is definitely time consuming, it's complex, but technology is helping us with that. Recently we acquired a 3D scanner, so instead of seeing an officer standing with a prism pole at each piece of evidence and roadway, we now have this software and technology that's going to speed up the process. It actually takes a 3D image, quickly for us, and it has all the exact measurements without us standing around and marking each and every single thing.
That makes it a whole lot easier. And I imagine you use a drone maybe too for some of the work?
Yes, we also have drone operators who will go above, and then the software can combine everything for us.
Well, things have probably really changed over your almost 20-year career with the service, that's for sure. Listen, thanks so much for coming on. Acting Sergeant Anderson, pardon me, Staff Sergeant Anderson, you earned that, so we should be using your correct title. Thank you very much for coming on the show, and thanks for all the work that you and your colleagues do.
Thanks so much for having me.
And we'll be back with more right after this.
Discover London Bicycle Cafe, home of family cargo and urban cycling. Test ride an e-bike along riverside trails to see how easy moving through our city can really be. London Bicycle Cafe at the Forks of the Thames. See you soon.
And we're back. Joining us now is Constable Julia Piening, a 20-year veteran with the London Police Service. Julia also teaches part-time at Fanshawe College. She speaks French and Spanish and has two, as she refers to them, wonderful kids. And I'm sure they are. She also tells me that she owes a lot of her grit and a lot of her perseverance to her mom. These days, Julia is a member of the Community Services Division, where she coordinates a program called Project Builds. It's a project designed to build trust and create positive connections between police and London's youth, as well as other London residents. On top of this, she facilitates a program called Youth in Policing Initiative, or YIPI for short. And that's what we're here to talk about today, the YIPI initiative. So, let's go. So, Constable Piening, you've got a really cool job. Welcome to the show. I'm excited to talk about it today.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
So, during the year, and especially between the months of July and August, I'm going to bet many folks joining us in their homes for this conversation just aren't familiar with the Youth in Policing Initiative program. What's it all about?
Oh, that's a big question. I don't know if we have enough time for that, Matt. Youth in Policing Initiative program, in a nutshell, is a 2-month program that the London Police provide to youth who, through an application process, get to experience what it's like to be a police officer or a member of the London Police Service, whether it's a policing professional, but also it's providing pillars for their development, whether that's professional development, personal development, and then community engagement. So for the full 2 months, these kids that we hire are busy doing community events, community engagement, learning about the policing, gaining experience and certificates and training. So it's quite busy.
Yeah, it's an incredible program, and there are, I think, 30 youth that were selected to be participants in this program for the 2025 summer. That's pretty amazing. I mean, they must feel pretty lucky to be selected, because I understand there are hundreds of applicants.
That's correct.
And what would a typical day? I mean, I know you described some of the things that they do, but what's a typical day? Do they arrive at, say, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and how does that roll out?
Yeah, so they're Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, and they're expected to show up on time. This summer, I think some of the students didn't like me so much because I made them do push-ups if they were late.
Fair enough.
But yeah, they show up on time. They're in uniform. They're expected to make notes as an officer would about the day. Typical day, depending on what kind of day, if it's Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. We also mentor youths in our Rookie Ball League, which is youth from 8 to 12, who may not get an opportunity for organized sports. So the YIPI students would mentor those youth in organized sport, team playing, building relationships that way.
And do they meet the youth in their neighborhood, or is it downtown at the park?
It would be at Vauxhall Park. So we have a wonderful relationship with Labatt's Park that they allow us to play there for the first opening game and the final game. So it gives those kids an opportunity to see what it's like to play in a big Labatt's Park field for the win.
Folks at home who've been to Labatt Park know that it's a really special place.
It is.
It almost feels magical, Field of Dreams like, and when you get down on that grass, you feel like you're in a spot where the pros play. So I'm sure that the kiddos like that too.
They love it, and they are super, super competitive when it comes to the
Is that
first and
right?
second place. Oh yeah. So a typical day for Yippies would be, the Wednesday we go and we collect all the youth from their different housing complexes, ride the bus with them, go to the practice, engage with them, serve some lunch, and then have a game after. And then they would either come back to the station and have a training session, whether it's guest speakers come in, Toastmasters, we had CPR training, we had cultivating safe space training. New this year, I brought in mindfulness training, which
Excellent.
is a great tool for people who might have busy minds like myself and be able to be in the moment. And I think that was a very productive and successful implementation of this year's program.
Well, it just sounds incredible. And I have to say that I've seen firsthand how this can change a young person's life trajectory in a really positive way. Can you talk about that? I'm sure you can't name names, but
Yeah.
can you give some examples?
Yeah, throughout this course, I've done this for 3 years, and in each group there are certain youth that are chosen because we can tell through the interview process, through the backgrounds, that this program has the ability to change that trajectory, and it only requires that opportunity to be afforded. So when we give that opportunity and we see these kids come in for the first week not really sure of how they're going to mesh with other youth, because there's youth from different dynamic backgrounds, education, financial, cultural, and then a couple weeks in you see them starting to click a bit better. So the relationship building and the ability to increase their confidence in their professional and personal development. We had some students this year that excelled at the physical fitness part, and some that weren't very good, but then throughout the course of their 8 weeks excelled and were able to move on to do some really cool stuff with our CrossFit partners. So it really, really helps. Even relationship building and professional development of resumes, let's say. They're now able to go out and apply to places because they have a guide of what a resume is supposed to look like, and I offer that opportunity. So.
Yeah, it's incredible, right? I mean, they walk away from this program with not just a great experience, which I'm sure that it is, but a life-changing experience as well, and then some tangible things, like you mentioned, CPR certification, first aid certification, Toastmasters, which I was surprised to learn that. I think that's a great idea to help young people with public speaking, and it really does require confidence to be able to speak in front of a group. And I understand that they even practice their public speaking, and there's a test, and they have to speak to the whole group. Yeah. Yeah. So some of those topics must be pretty personal, and some of them even pretty hard hitting.
I actually used one of theirs. They really wanted me to be in all of their Toastmasters presentations this year, and I tried because we had a big group of 30, so I was running back from different rooms to capture their speech. But I did use one of them I quoted them in the final graduation day, because it really impacted me, even as a 20-year police officer and a mom, just to hear that coming from another youth who didn't have that confidence and was able to articulate that and be able to say what he had to say. It impacted me so much.
Can you give us a hint?
Just capture the small moments. It's in the small moments that impacts people more than being loud and busy sometimes.
Yeah, I think that all of us realize in life that the small things can really end up being the big things. Specifically about policing. So the participants, I'm sure, learn all about policing. They learn about what it means to be a sworn officer, what it means to be a civilian. Probably they're really surprised about how many different types of jobs there are over at the police headquarters on Dundas. Can you talk a little bit about that? What did they learn?
Yeah, so in the first, I hear it because we just finished school, right? So for me to have these students in a classroom for the whole summer is not my gain, right? So I try to get all of that out of the way, but I have representations from each unit come in and give kind of like a presentation of what they do, what to expect, kind of giving some examples if they're able to, and that exposes them to the different types of positions and investigations that police officers do. So it's not just a uniform. There's others, the major crime, the road safety. We had guns and gangs in there. We had we had forensics computers come in, we had cyber. So there's so many different avenues, and so that affords the youth the opportunity to not only see that they can be an officer in uniform, but what other progress that can be made and what other avenues and the career would look like for officers and for them. So some of them don't come in wanting to be police officers, and by the time the program ends, there's more of a hint of, I think this is for me, I think I can do this.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think about the kinds of opportunities that are available in a career in policing, you can really create your own path. You've been a police officer for a couple of decades, right? This is the 20th year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You've seen a lot in your various roles over the years. From your perspective, why is this Yippee program important? What does it mean to you?
It means I take it personally in regards to because I pour passion in. I'm very passionate about making that connection with youth and building that trust, because we do need to build the trust with our future generations, and affording them an opportunity to see the other side of things when all they see is perhaps the negative influence that social media might have. I think that's important, and the youth I connect well with. I don't know whether it's because I have children or because I feel that they may have been a little forgotten in our busy world, right? And having that opportunity to maybe influence and mentor and be supportive for them, that's what the Yippee program is all about.
Yeah, incredible. We're just about out of time. We've got about a minute left. Folks at home might be interested to know that the program is funded by the province and not by the City of London.
Yes.
I'm sure that you and your team would like to grow the program, and we've had conversations about that in the past. For next year, how would a young person apply?
That's a great question. We have a lot of information sessions, and they're going to be starting in December all the way up until February, but there is an application that will be online, and then we review and then an interview.
Okay, well, that's where we're going to have to leave it.
Perfect.
Again, thanks so much for coming on the show. And I really appreciate the information that you shared with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, London, that's the show. Remember, you can catch the conversation with video and in its entirety over on Rogers Television. Hopefully you know a little bit more about policing now than you did 30 minutes ago. And like I always say, this show is for you. It's about all things local and maybe some other stuff too. Please reach out and tell me what you think. Tell me what you'd like us to cover. You can reach me by email at themattbrownpodcast@gmail.com. Also, there are some small costs associated with running a podcast like this. If you like what you're hearing, maybe you want to pitch in. There's a button on the main page of the website that you can click on and buy me a coffee. By the way, thanks to the listeners who've done this already. I really appreciate the support. And finally, a reminder that I've joined a bi-weekly political panel that airs on CBC Radio at 8:10 every other Wednesday. Andrew Brown is the host, and I'm joined on the panel with past members of Parliament Karen Vecchio and Lindsay Matheson. We're having a blast, and the next broadcast is October 8th. I hope you tune in. Okay, special thanks to Mike Anderson and Julia Piening for joining us on this episode. Thanks also to Rogers Newsmakers producer Chris Burkholtz and everyone over there that work on this project. So until next time, that's the show. Bye for now, and talk to you soon, London.